This is the Player 4 Podcast. Join us each week as we talk about video games, entertainment, and pop culture, and bring in guests from the Rooster Teeth community. Player 4 has entered the game. Hey everybody, welcome to the Player 4 Podcast. We're back at you with another episode this week. Right now, this minute.
What?
Hello. Hello. I am Tristan, a.k.a. Sharbrazier, on the Rooster Teeth website.
I am Alex, a.k.a. Chaos Black 21.
Malachi, a.k.a. Tsukiheba.
We're doing our sexy voices today. And for some reason, to me, that means movie announcements. And I am Joseph, a.k.a. J. Dunlap.
Dunlap.
Funland.
I'm surprised you haven't done any movie commercials then, Joseph.
So far since I started podcasting, I've been asked to lend my voice talents to various things at least twice.
Oh, very nice.
Oh,
I guess nobody needs a lesser Caboose.
No, nobody likes our voices. They only like Joseph's.
They only like Joseph's.
Doing the sexy voice intro reminds me of when we used to have to do the midnight snacks.
Ooh, the midnight snacks.
The Player 4 midnight snack.
We haven't done one of those in a while.
Yeah.
No, we haven't had to.
Yeah.
We've gotten close, but we haven't had to. We've been pretty regular on our recording schedule. I specified, Tristan, on a recording schedule.
Today we had just a couple of things on the agenda for today. We wanted to get back on the wagon, back on the bus here, whatever you call it, with Reliving Vicariously. We want Malachi to tell us about Red vs. Blue Season 9, which he's watched and he's prepared to tell us about it. And then we wanted to talk a little bit about Rooster Teeth's, one of Rooster Teeth's newest shows that's on the horizon, Crunch Time.
Crunch Time, not Crunch Bite.
Not Crunch Bite.
Yes, I think I saw September 11th it comes out, so...
Oh, yeah.
We gotta prepare for that.
Yeah, hold on to your butts.
I'm holding. How long do I have to hold on to?
If you're having issues keeping your hands on your butt, then use super glue.
And put a number 1 on each butt cheek.
And then I can eat a sandwich with my feet.
What?
Yeah.
Is that life goals or something?
It's a Caboose reference.
And I could give high fives.
Just the important stuff.
Well, speaking of Red vs. Blue, Malachi, so you watched Red vs. Blue Season 9 recently for the first time?
Actually, the second time, because I watched it once before RTX nonsense, and we never got to it.
Yeah, you were like,
so
I'm going to get prepared.
Reliving vicariously.
And it's apparently Tristan's favorite season?
I love Season 9.
Well, don't you like Season 9 and 10?
Well, I like Season 9 and 10, but Season 9 is honestly my favorite because it was the one where they first started diving into the Freelancers story. And the whole season was about evenly split between the full animation Monty Ohm and the machinimation that the rest of the series is done in.
Mm-hmm.
So Malachi, what were your favorite story beats for Season 9?
Favorite story beats? Yeah, it jumps around a lot because you're dealing with church inside the unit. I forgot the name of the unit.
Epsilon unit?
Yeah, the Epsilon unit. And flashback to the past with the Freelancers, which actually never really told you why it flashed back. I don't know if it's just the whole concept of Church being inside the Epsilon unit and kind of sifting through his memories.
Well, so at the end of Season 8, or rather, Season 7, whenever it was revealed that Church was actually an AI, and now that they've gone...
Season 6?
Was that 6?
It was pretty, there was a lot.
It was a while ago, but in any event, they never really went into why he's an AI or the origin there. So this is the origin story, talking about why he's an AI, why he's in Blood Gulch, who Tex is, why she's in Blood Gulch. It's like they finally got their story put together and decided, we made this show that was about these 6 guys who just don't have any aptitude for fighting, who are supposed to be fighting each other in Blood Gulch, and now we kind of have reasons for them to be there, a way for this to have come about. And so they're finally going back and telling the story of the Alpha, how the Alpha was broken.
Actually,
Isn't it 7 guys?
So now you've got the idea that Blood Gulch was just a test ground for the Freelancers, that these guys are simulation soldiers who were never supposed to present too much of a challenge to anybody, but were supposed to be obstacles to the Freelancers. And so the question's been rattling around, who are the Freelancers and why do they have these guys training against these simulation soldiers? And that means there's more than just Tex and Wyoming, so who are the others?
Yes, and that was pretty much what was covered in this whole thing, was Church making his little imaginary world of Blood Gulch, and then the flashback to the big mission with the Freelancers to get introduced to all of them, and then their last mission they do for the bit of the story was them going after a bit of tech that the enemies had, which they refer to as the sarcophagus.
Yep, they retrieved the sarcophagus from the Citadel, and then York handing the tracking beacon to one of the enemy combatants, and it is directing the laser fire from the Mother of Invention.
They knocked the thing got knocked off the building. It was midair. They had to get it into the dropship midair, and then they flew off. Tex was on there also, jumped out of the dropship, and then proceeded to go after the trigger or the switch that was part of it, or the data to unlock it. There was the huge chase scene, and they ended up getting the case at the end.
At the expense of someone.
Well, you say that Tex jumped out to want to go after it, but wasn't it Carolina?
Well, no. Carolina, York, and
Wash.
No, it wasn't Wash. It was the meta. What was the name? Maine. Were the ones that ended up getting it, and then they got caught halfway by planes and got it taken away, and then Tex intervened toward the end and ended up taking it from them and the enemy.
Yes.
So, and it ended with her being very upset about that, and Carolina taking off her helmet. And you see Data at the end also, not Data, Delta.
Yeah, Brent Spiner.
So there's quite a bit more information at the end, even beyond that.
Didn't something happen to Maine?
No, he was...
Yes, he got shot in the neck 5 times at point-blank range during the fight.
I think he still survived.
He did survive, he just lost his ability to speak.
Tis but a flesh wound.
He didn't really talk to begin with anyways.
Yeah, but now he'll just growl.
Yeah.
Okay, what was your favorite moment from the Blood Gulch segment? The Church memories in the Epsilon unit, and he's just sort of hanging out with these representations of his memories of all the different reds and blues. What's your favorite moments from that?
Still Sarge. And that was when they were trying to figure out how to deal with the earthquakes and the end of the world.
I'd have to say it would be when the red team's personalities are all wrong.
That was pretty funny too. But my favorite thing was just the picture of the stick figure of Sarge's helmet on top of the world. It says, "We're going to kick the world's ass." Sarge's plan. I love that.
Didn't he put together a giant excavator as well?
He took an excavator and he turned it into a drill. It's a bore to the core of the earth and blow up a bomb there.
A bore to the core.
Isn't that the plot of the first Mike Myers Austin Powers movie?
We're going to skedaddle through the mantle.
Yeah. Skedaddle through the mantle and bore through the core, he said, I think it was too.
Yeah, bore to the core. A bust through the crust as well.
It had a lot going on for it, a lot of nice story because you were filling in the Freelancers. You got to meet a lot of new characters. You got to be introduced to all of them. You got to see CT. You got to know exactly who she was and her perspective on the whole Freelancer stuff and why she was the way she was. That was her in the desert.
So you found out that CT is a girl, but the one that we first saw was a guy.
Was it? I forgot.
Yes, the one that we first heard was as the name CT and had the armor was a guy.
But had her helmet.
But the original was a girl.
Yes. There were a lot of nice personalities too for the each freelancer. I really like the part where North and South Dakota were trying to retrieve the data about the sarcophagus from that mining facility or whatever.
I'm glad that that's your favorite part, because that was my favorite part too. I love the relationship between North and South Dakota.
Are they? They're supposed to be like twin brothers.
They're like siblings,
but not really, right?
It's never certain. They refer to them as brother and sister.
Okay.
Because there's a part where North is beating himself up later on, and York comes in, and he says, what's up, buddy? And North says, nothing, I'm just, dealing with a problem right now. And he says, is the problem your sister?
Okay, so they probably did implement that they were supposed to be related, or at least acted like they were related.
Yeah. South Dakota, I like the
relationship. They were related.
Yeah, they are related. That was they were specifically chosen, and they were trained in the way, they were set up the way they were because of that. They gave North Dakota an AI fragment, and they didn't give South Dakota one. That was a whole experiment they were running. To see how people would respond if the brother was given something and the sister wasn't, if that would change the relationship with the AI, change the relationship between how they work together.
Gotcha. And they really, ever since like the whole AI incident, they always play Tex as also like the kick-ass, badass and everything, because she always is popping in and just destroying everyone. So it'll be interesting to see.
Poor Washington trying to get them to work together against her, and they just refuse.
It was York that was trying to get them to work together in those. Do you talk about the battle?
Because it was York, Wyoming, and Maine.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it was Washington.
No, Washington was not part of it.
He was watching, though, in the booth with Carolina, CT, and North Dakota.
He was Washington.
He's Washington. Because Washington was always the one that was always kind of reasonable with this stuff, because I said, that's not protocol to have live rounds in training.
Yeah, Wyoming and Maine were the ones who decided to start using actual grenades. Washington wouldn't have done that. His character wouldn't have done that. Well, they started using grenades
too.
Yeah, York was against it too.
Yeah.
And then he got reprimanded for not doing it.
So yeah, all in all, so covered that mission, then retrieving the sarcophagus and the case. At the end, you see the birth of Data, and he was woke up and said he was Delta. I always think Data because he's smart.
Data.
He's like a library. He knows everything. That's why I think Data. So Delta, you see the birth of Delta. He wakes up, he's confused, and the doctor's like, "Oh, in your situation, we're not surprised." And he says, "What is your name?" He's like, "Alpha." And he's like, "No, that's not your name. Do you wish to know your name?" And he's like, "Yes, I am confused." "Okay, your name is Delta." And then he went back to Blood Gulch, where Church is retrieved from the Epsilon unit. I also like that part too. It's funny. And Caboose is in the sky. Wait, is Caboose God?
Yeah.
It's like,
he's in the sky.
Yeah. Sarge is like, I'm probably one of the first people that just don't want to go to heaven.
Because it's run by the Blues.
And then he sees himself. He's like, "Brother me, I command you to shoot the Blues." So he gets out, and at the very end of the episode, we see Caboose and Sarge are talking to Church, telling him that they did all this work to get him, and he wants to go back in the Epsilon unit because he was ready to die because he came to terms with everything. And they said, "Well, we had the help of this other guy." And Church is like, "Who?" And it's like, "No, this new person." And then walks Carolina. She is now into the present situation. And she's like, "Hello, Alpha. Have you start what I should have done to begin with, and that's like kill the director." So that was the end of the episode right there.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yep. She's going to take him and apparently go after the director.
So, season 9, yeah. Definitely one of my favorites just because I love the old stories of the freelancers, their interactions. York, North Dakota, those guys are some of my favorites. So, we want to move on to Crunch Time! New show by Rooster Teeth. Supposedly coming out September 11th of this year. And we've been doing some research on that. It's got some stars from other films, and supposedly, what genre did we find that this is supposed to be?
So, when we were researching for this episode, we were debating over that. What genre is Crunch Time? Because we were sort of going off of hearsay at first, because Barbara had described it as Stranger Things, but as a comedy.
Yeah.
But after we researched it, we found it to be sort of a combination of comedy and X-Files style sci-fi. It seems like what would happen if you turned Inception into a comedy, and instead of them trying to steal ideas, they just let people have fun in the machine. But also, there's, as they say in one of the videos on roosterteeth.com, ding! Just kidding. They're not sponsoring us. They say that it has sort of an X-Files twist, and there is a reference in one video to a mini black hole of some kind, a mini wormhole, I think, that could potentially end the world. But it starts off as a fun little romp of these pretty unlikable graduate students. Like, It's Always Sunny style unlikable, where you know that the cast is full of a-holes. That one of them is...
Hey, like us.
Hey! What? One of them is good with science-y things. He basically makes the Inception machine, but what it does is it creates lucid dreams. So then they come up with this great idea to make money off of giving people whatever fantasy they want through these lucid dreams, but occasionally things go wrong because the lucid dream may turn into a nightmare and that kind of thing. So they always need someone behind, Matrix style, to yoink them from the machine. And, or actually, I think it's, epinephrine, since we were talking about that with Day 5 last week.
God damn it.
A shot of epinephrine.
I don't want to see more people stabbing themselves in the chest.
No, it's not stabbing themselves. If you want to wake up the person who's dreaming, you have to stab them with epinephrine.
So they'll stab other people in the chest.
Yeah,
I had to go look it up after that discussion we had, because I had always thought that epinephrine was to treat allergic shock, but it is just, and I never knew this, and I feel dumb for not knowing it, epinephrine is just one of the colloquialisms for adrenaline. They are the same thing, and you said that, and I sat there going, no, they're not.
The only reason
I was wrong.
The only reason I know is because of Crank, the movie that you haven't seen, but Alex and I have.
I see.
I've seen it.
Wait, were you the one who saw it?
No, we both saw it. Malachi, I said I saw it, and then later Malachi spoke up and was like, yeah, I was one of those people that saw it too.
Yeah, because you were sleeping through the Day 5 talk.
Well, no, I can't contribute. I couldn't contribute to the Day 5 thing, so I didn't want to interrupt when I didn't have facts to support.
Or you could just ask questions.
Yes.
Let's just give everyone a hard time now, shall we?
No. So yeah,
what we do best.
I always just thought that epinephrine was for anaphylactic shock, and I didn't realize that it was actually just an adrenaline shot. Because
the adrenaline helps against
yeah, but EpiPen you just jam in your leg. So I never figured that the thing that people were sticking in their heart, which I knew to be adrenaline, could also be referred to as epinephrine.
I guess it's the medical term.
It's a medicinal colloquialism. The chemical compound is epinephrine. The word that we generally call it is adrenaline.
So from that point of the story, the wormhole thing happens. I don't know how. And then from there, I guess they have to kind of fix the problem.
It is a black hole.
It is a black hole because it looked like a wormhole when they showed it, but it could just be like a black hole
all their
was forming.
descriptions say black hole, like actually what they have written down under the videos.
Maybe it's a white hole.
Yeah, spacism.
All I know is, are they going in and out and in and out?
Well, clearly they're not, because the government isn't paying them enough to do that.
That reference is like over a year old at this point.
I keep it in mothballs, so it's always fresh.
Like you, Tristan.
So fresh.
We want to answer the question for anyone wanting to know what crunch time is. What is crunch time?
What is crunch time?
It's a bunch of different things together in one.
They have this machine that sets up dreams where people can live out a fantasy, but then it could go wrong, so they've got, tank outside to pull people if it goes bad.
I like what you did there.
And so the hilarity is how bad it can go before they get pulled out, I'm guessing.
Yeah, with the Santa Claus with the chainsaw, and he kept popping up. I think they showed 3 or 4 different scenes with him throughout the different videos.
Okay.
Keeps chopping people's arms off.
Their arms grow back so that he can chop them off again.
I guess. I don't know. It was 2 times it was the same guy, but he still had that stupid arm.
He just had the arm back.
Yeah, he owes them that arm.
Still owes us that leg.
Like that homeless guy in Austin.
Still got that damn leg.
So, Tristan, you brought up something. You were saying that there are members of the cast that people who are just familiar with... Yeah, they might recognize. So, who are those cast members?
I know that one of them was from Inglourious Bastards, and we said his name was a name of a person that was Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah,
Is it the character that plays Berkman or whatever?
Well, now we're getting into saying names of characters of Crunch Time, which will not really mean anything until an episode comes out.
Well, they have videos of the of some of the characters.
He was Berkman, though. He was like the playboy kind of character. But in Inglourious Bastards, he was one of the Americans, but he was just sort of one of the side characters. He is one of the three guys that when the guy was like, I'd rather die, and so three guys look at each other and shoot him. He's one of those guys. So put the picture up now, Alex. No, you will have already put the picture up.
I'm looking.
Oh, am I working on the video this time again as well?
Until Christian can get his computer thing worked out, you get to make videos. Yay!
Yay!
I don't see a name up here that I recognize. I'm looking at the Inglourious Bastards cast, trying to find the name of this guy that we're talking about.
But then there's also a character...
It's actually the right cast and not something like 24 Season 5.
Right. That was fun.
Oh, you know what? I'm on Inglourious Bastards, but was filmed in 1978. That's the wrong cast. I wanted the 2009 one.
So those who are confused...
I know there were two!
Those who are confused, last week Alex and I both Googled Day 5 cast at the same exact time, and we both got Season 5 of 24. Because I guess they call that season Day 5.
Yeah, I actually, one of the pictures I put up, I went and did that over and print screened it just so people could see what we were talking about.
Can't wait to see it. When your dude lets you put it up.
Oh, yep. Sam Levine. That was it. With 2 M.
Yes. Sam with 2 M's. I remember that. Well, there was one other person that Rooster Teeth fans especially will recognize. Who was that guy?
It's the guy who played... Wasn't it Vanderbloom, the military officer that was in Laser Team? He was kind of the quirky one that, if people have seen Laser Team, he's the one who gave them the flame, the suits that did not retard flames, and wanted to add them on Facebook.
Avery Monson?
Sure.
We don't know the name, but he will be playing Larry, I believe, on the.
Yeah, and he's pretty typecast on his roles too, isn't he?
Oh, his name is Kirk C. Johnson.
Yeah, it seems like he plays the quirky roles.
Yeah, is he the guy in Crunch Time that likes dogs?
Yes.
Yeah, and at one point, I guess he's having a lucid dream where he's dressed as a dog. Is that what's going on there?
It looked like the same costume they used in that one show with Elijah.
No.
Wilfred.
Yeah, Wilfred.
It makes me think of when Bernie was in a dog costume.
Oh yeah, why is Bernie crying in this picture?
Sex dogs.
He was really hard to work with.
Having sex.
But
the lighting is great.
We should hire this guy. That reminds me.
Dogs are having sex.
You guys remember when the site had the old cartoon written by Griffin and drawn by Luke McKay?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You remember how when they first did the comic, there were a bunch of people on the site saying they didn't like it, but then when it left, everyone was sad?
Yeah, that's how it always goes. Remember freaking Firefly?
Yeah. Why would you do this to me, Tristan?
Sorry.
Why you do this?
Why you do this? Actually, Can't Stop the Serenity is in late September. I should go to it this year. But back on the topic at hand, in the cartoon, there was a...
We're embracing the tangent.
Yes, I am embracing this tangent to the fullest extent of the tangentness.
With a nice bear hug.
You want to talk about Gus Goose again?
I'm going to love the heck out of it.
Oh, God.
Malachi.
Back to the cartoon.
We're back to Malachi and Pokemon. Okay, so there was a cartoon where Jack was really happy about what he did with the Sex Dog song because they had just had him come in and make something up. And so I think it was Gus was like, "Are you just happy that you finally did something funny?" He's like, "Yes." I thought it was really funny.
Yes.
And that was before people really knew who he was outside of Awu.
He was the one who had his apartment broken into like 3 times. And then he went to live with his parents.
And then there was the group on Rooster Teeth called I Would Totally Rob Jack, a reference to I Would Totally Do Griffin.
Because he got robbed 2 or 3 times.
That's horrible.
It is horrible. Everybody felt it. Dude, I don't know if you remember, but it was several years ago that there was the whole internet had come together to bully Jack. And that was where Stop the Bullying, like 2012 came from. Was, guys gotta stop being mean to Jack. And finally, it was like after a year of this, Jack got fed up with it and started bullying back, and he bullied hard. Like, I think everybody probably remembers when Jack went on a road trip, or he went on a business trip for a week or something. He comes back, and the whole time, Gavin's been using, like, Jack's office chair for the Let's Plays and everything. And Jack gets in during one of the Let's Plays, and you just hear this crash over the microphones because Jack has walked in, seen Gavin sitting in his chair, and yanked the chair out from under him, and basically sent Gavin's face into the desk.
Ow.
Yeah.
You guys remember the AWU where, was it an AWU or was it an RT Life where they stuck Gavin's chair in a way that it was stuck under the edge of his desk?
Yes! And he couldn't get it out!
He yanked on it until, like, two things fell off of it.
Started coming apart and almost fell over.
Okay, I remember that was an RT Life, and there was actually an AWU where in the background he fell over or something.
I mean, I really miss some of the RT Life videos because they were just stupid and funny.
They don't do them anymore.
It was almost always Gavin and Michael.
I think they do RT Life occasionally, but it's,
I think that
not like the past. Just like the shorts, they're just not quite the same ananymore.
Well, I mean, people have grown up. You know, these were the stupid things they did when they were 22 years old, and now they're all 26.
Okay, so let's move away from this tangent.
Yeah, Mr. Let's bring the tangent now.
Those dogs are having sex.
I wanted to talk about that. That's all. So we were talking about the silly guy from Laser Team that's going to play a silly guy that likes dogs in Crunch Time, and he was wearing a dog costume, much like Bernie was when Chris was doing such incredible lighting. So moving on from there, just overall impressions of what you think the show will be, where you think they can grow to. What do you guys think about that?
I don't know where they can grow to, but like I said, my interpretation is that what we're going to be seeing is them, I guess they're making money, charging people to come and use their lucid dream machine, and it's just the hijinks that ensue as people try to create their perfect fantasy and then live it out in the dream, and then it all goes wrong in some hilarious way.
I think what's going to happen is they're going to... It may start out that way. I think they do it to themselves, maybe, and then the black hole happens, and then the government gets involved, and so then they use other people, maybe while, making money to try to figure out how this black hole happened.
I think long term, if they're wanting this to be a series that's more than one season like they're doing with Day 5, I actually think that the whole making money with dreams thing is only going to last maybe a third or half of the season. And I think the eventual place that these characters might find a home is working for the government. Perhaps even using their dream machine in an Inception-like way. Or like using it to solve problems that the government has and wants them to go in and be spies. That's a thought I have. Other than that, maybe like they solve the crisis at the end of the season and maybe season 2, maybe they have a new machine or maybe they have a new goal. The term crunch time in the title is really open-ended, so they're not really tied to any particular direction they have to go.
It's open-ended, but it does tend to refer to, in the industry, especially the industry they're in, when you're on a very close to the deadline and you have a lot of things to finish up to get the product out.
So it could be just named after maybe their graduate students in the middle of crunch time having to come up with a project and all of a sudden they stumble across this invention. It could be that kind of idea, but also fixing the black hole at the last second, and maybe that just becomes a theme for them, that they're constantly coming up with inventions that cause trouble for them that they have to solve and they get in trouble. Although I would not be surprised if they end up employed by the government.
Could be a white hole.
Okay.
I was going to say that lucid dream thing reminds me of the thing from one of the Batman movies that the Joker did with the fantasy thing that he stuck to your head.
The ring. I remember that. Batman took it off because he saw through the illusion.
Yeah, and the Joker was taking all the memories of everyone that was linked to it.
Yeah, I recall that one.
I just wanted to mention that because I was like, oh, hey, that reminds me of that.
Have any of you watched Eureka?
Yeah,
yes.
I did a long time ago.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that marathon that I had. Gina and I wanted to watch Eureka, so we watched the entire show about a year ago or so, and I really enjoyed a lot of the stories because it's, a lot of different things can happen in a sci-fi setting like that, and one of the stories was that there was a device that they didn't realize was causing everyone to share in lucid dreams together. And so when you went to sleep, you might end up in someone else's lucid dream or they might end up in yours. At the very beginning, the sheriff, the main character, he has a bad dream, one of those walking around naked dreams. Except,
I remember that.
Except everyone had the dream and they thought it was just them who had the dream.
They're like, why did I dream about him naked?
And his daughter even
no one of them wanted to talk about it.
And so then they figured out that since everyone had the dream, something's going on. What I liked about the show was how many different possibilities there were for a story you could do in that kind of setting with all these super geniuses and boredom and free time and resources. And they pretty much did every possible story they could do. I actually think they'd never run out of ideas, but they never left a resource untapped as far as story goes. And I'm hoping the same thing for Crunch Time as well, bringing it back, of course.
Bringing it back.
I think the show is more about the characters and what they're trying to accomplish than it is about the Dream Machine, honestly.
Yeah, that hopefully that is the direction they're taking. If it does, they might be pretty successful.
All right. Is it time now? Is it time to say the thing?
Time.
What's the thing you say, Tristan? What's the thing that you're trying to make a thing?
Hashtag goodbye.
Hashtag goodbye? Is that trending on Twitter?
Yes.
Like
that and hashtag Dookie Kiba.
I want to say anti-hashtag lameness goodbye.
That's a really long hashtag.
That was pretty elaborate.
I don't think it was.
It's dumb.
I don't think it's going to stick.
Goodbye.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Oh my
God.
God.
Mine.